Welcome to Topic Talks, where we talk about the topics you care about and leave out the ones you don't.
We talk about what most news sources don't: media, movies, and the multiverse.
We even invite guests to come talk topics with us.
Come join in on the fun.
Let's get started. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the giant conversation of this Topic Talks. I'm your host, Aaron Klingsmith, and my first question is, where is everybody? Lucas isn't here. Mark isn't here. At least I have someone. And that's Logan. Hi, Logan.
Hey, how you doing?
Well, I'd be better if I had, half my hosts were here.
It might be my new deodorant. I don't know if I'm keeping everyone away.
You haven't even been. You haven't been in the same room with all of them. Mark was here last week. Lucas was here the week before, and now nobody's here this week. Lucas was like, "Crap! I just woke up. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it. How long is it gonna take you to get here? 45 minutes. Well, okay. That's off the table. Got that. Okay."
At least you didn't get up and show up to an internship that no one was there for.
Hey, I've almost done that before. I got up and then I got a text, "Hey, no internship." I'm like, well, that sucks. I'm up already.
Got to find something to fill the rest of your day with.
Right. I went out and watched TV, and my girlfriend got up. Aren't you supposed to be at your internship? No, I got canceled. Why didn't you come back to bed? Couldn't sleep.
I could sleep. I could make Cheerios.
I was up already, so I went and got myself a bowl of cereal, sat in front of the TV, and I did go to bed later that day.
And that was the day Aaron discovered the chemical balance of Cheerios.
There were a couple days when I thought that the show had been canceled, but I'd just gotten there. Everybody else was late, and I'm like, okay, good. Because I'd hate to drive an hour all the way to Detroit.
Now, don't you just wish everyone would show up early for Topic Talks now?
Yes! They'll show up
up 5 hours early. Hey, was the show on today? Well, yeah.
They'll show up 5 minutes early and be like, "I'm here." I'll be like, "Yeah, I asked you to be here at 5:30, not 5:55.
See, I always keep forgetting, and it's probably a good thing, but I'm always like, "Oh, I gotta be there at 5 o'clock." And I show up at 5:15. I'm like, "Oh, I'm good."
Well, I'm glad. At least somebody's on time. I mean, they always point out that I'm, it's in my basement.
Mm-hmm.
There's been times I've almost been late for it, too.
Oh, I'm sure.
I've had to mow, and so I'm pulling in right when they are, and that's when sometimes when the show's late. You're like, "You're supposed to be here already." I said, "I don't always stay at my house."
Just enough time to hit the garden hose, spray yourself down a little bit. All right, let's do this.
Oh, man. This is crazy. You know what else is crazy?
What's that?
It's actually funny. I might make you cry.
I don't know. That's pretty difficult to do.
I found one that might make you cry. So as we dive into the topics, there was a bride that got a surprise that I think she will truly never forget. This bride's name is Allison, and her late father, who wouldn't be able to walk her down the aisle on her special day, because he passed away a little bit before. So her fiance Garrett had found the perfect person to kind of fill that position. And I'm going to give you a little bit of background. When Allison was 29 years old and was growing up in the city of growing up, the Roots family lived across the street. Allison's family they were all in Minnesota, and Allison's father Jerry became really good friends with Chris, who was their neighbor. They became lifelong friends, and 12 years ago, when Allison's father passed away, Chris and his wife were then living in Colorado, were in the car driving to Minnesota within a couple hours. So, they were there really quickly for the funeral. That's how close these people were. And so we, originally when she's like, well, who am I going to have walk me down the aisle? She thought of Chris. And right as she was about to ask him, I think it was a little bit before Christmas, she found out that Chris and his wife had been in an accident, and it prevented Chris's wife from traveling. So she just, she's like, I'm not going to take him away from his wife. So she's like, you know what? I'm just going to do it by myself. I'm going to walk down the aisle alone. And that wasn't good enough for her soon-to-be husband. So what he did is he gave Chris a call and kind of explained the situation. And there's this heart-wrenching video of Chris like surprising her, surprising Allison, and saying that he wouldn't have missed this for the world. And it's actually really touching. Like, she had no clue that the Garrett had planned this entire thing, and it wasn't a big reveal or anything. She was sitting down, she was closing her eyes, and they just kind of let him walk in, and it was a really good video. It almost made me cry, let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is just so awesome. But yeah, it was a couple days before the wedding when this surprise was made. So she was thinking, that she was gonna walk down the aisle by herself, and she ended up just having this big surprise. I think it's fantastic.
Well, that must have been huge. I mean, just knowing that. There's someone there for. I mean, it sounds wrong saying it, but it's almost kind of nice, because people's wedding day is supposed to be like the most perfect day ever, but yet it's the day that always seems to go wrong for everybody.
Right.
But just having that kind of, I don't want to say the word contingency, because obviously, her father passed away. That's that's sad in itself, but that their neighbor Chris, was there for her and all, and very willing to do that. So that's really nice, to have that kind of connection with your neighbors, and I think it's something a lot of people in society nowadays are kind of lacking in. I know me growing up, there was always, my family was always pretty nice and close to our neighbors and stuff, but I notice nowadays that's not even a thing. I mean, heck, if I just asking someone to, mow the next door neighbor's lawn is an inconvenience,
right.
let alone walking the daughter down the aisle or something like that on her wedding. So that's definitely, that's really awesome story. I'd say that's, now was there any information? I'm not seeing anything in your article about Chris's wife. Is she doing she in better health?
It doesn't say. It just said that she wasn't able to travel.
Gotcha.
So it didn't even really say that she was in horrible health.
Right.
It just said that she wasn't able to travel. So I'm trying to see if I can get this video to play real quick because I want to see if I can get the reaction. Here we go. I think I got it.
No, that was.
Hey, I hear somebody needs to be given away. Wouldn't miss this for the world.
Is that Dad?
That's her daddy's best friend.
Oh my gosh, you're here.
Screamed the whole way up. I'm here. Yeah. Yeah, I did. I know. Don't tell anybody down there.
When did you come up?
I picked him up this morning. That was my errand today.
What the hell?
Surprise.
Surprise. Oh.
Okay, you're making everyone cry.
Exactly.
Anyway, isn't that
Well, yeah, just like hearing
just
them,
hearing it makes you
yeah,
wanna.
just going on there, just an any conversation. Then he walks in and says something. Just that gasp that she gives off is just
Right.
it just shows how surprised, shocked, and happy. The huge flush of mix of emotions right there. That was
Well, and then it's even worse when you actually, because I'm sitting over here watching the video and I'm trying not to cry because
Right.
it shows her like covering her eyes. So what they were doing is they were having her cover her eyes, and when he walked in, she opened it
Right.
up, and that was the, there was like a pause, and it was just, yeah, it's a fantastic video. If you get a chance, in the description below, it should be the first link that's posted. Right, and it'll say, all the links in today's show will be posted below. Right, the first link should be from today.com. And yeah, it'll be right there. You scroll down, and it'll be right there. It's a, like I said, it's a fantastic surprise. And the cool part about it was the husband that came up with it. I mean, usually it's like the mom or the sister.
Sure, yeah.
This was the like soon-to-be husband that came up with this idea.
Well, that's kind of the same mentality, you know. I mean, I'm not married myself, but from what I've heard and everything, and what modern media and everything tells me, it's always the bride wants to do everything. She wants that day to be absolutely perfect. And I mean, I don't want to say the wedding is more for her than it's because of course it's a mutual decision, but at the same time though,
Right.
just to know that your soon-to-be husband, your fiance, is willing to jump through these hoops and stuff and get that arranged for you, so you can be happy on your day, that just shows true love and commitment. Like I said earlier, that's just kind of something I think as far as friends and people in general in today's society are kind of missing out on, I think, a lot of times, because we're always so distracted with social media and everything like that, and going on the computer and everything like that. There's not a lot of that like almost human connection, if you will, anymore.
Right.
And just to show that that these people they're just a family living across the street from them, growing up.
Well, and like I said, the two fathers. So, Chris and the dad got really, really, really
Right,
close. They became
right.
very good friends.
Yeah.
And I think that is what made it so meaningful, is
Oh,
because they were like
definitely, yeah.
really good friends. And that made her feel close to her dad. I mean, I know, like Cody is one of my best friends, and if this were to happen to me, say I were to pass away, and I had a daughter,
Sure, yeah.
I think it would be very special if he would have, and he would too. If this were to happen just like this, he would be more than happy to do it.
Definitely.
So it really does mean a lot to a lot of people, but I just think it's really cool, especially since the husband was the one that did it,
Right.
rather than like the mom, the sister, the.
Well, I mean, I even think in both cases with the fiance or the now husband and the guy Chris, that both, it just shows how upstanding they are in the sense that they're both he was it Garrett the fiance. No, I'm
Garrett
mistaken?
was the fiance.
Yeah, Garrett's willing to go out there, go that extra mile for his wife, and then at the same time, Chris, the friend of her father, is willing to, as he said, I wouldn't miss this for the world. I'm sure, he's struggling just as much as she is. I'm sure, in the sense of losing his best friend, her
Right.
father. So, that just goes in. It speaks volumes about both of them as people, that just to show that they're willing to go that extra length for the person they care about.
Right.
Because obviously, I'm sure, for Allison, Chris was like her second father in a sense.
You're right. Right.
So, and just, obviously he's not there, that's unfortunate in itself, but just the fact that he's willing to, do what he has to do to make the flight up there, and
it sounded
go
like
and
he didn't
surprise
like
her.
to fly.
I can't blame him. I know some of those people you got to sit next to on the plane.
Right.
But no, that's really a cool story. I mean, it's nice to have kind of the silver lining to everything, if you will, and that I'm sure that absolutely made her wedding.
Well, and like I said, it's always like you said, wedding days are usually complete chaos.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
somehow, some way, before is chaos and after is chaos, but the actual ceremony is usually perfect.
Well,
It doesn't matter what happens before, what
Right.
happens at everything could go wrong. But once you like on your way down that aisle, you realize how perfect everything is.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
I've been in one of my aunt's weddings. I was in one of my sisters, two of my sisters' weddings. Three actually. I did my stepsister Crystal, Andrea, who's a stepsister, and then my sister Terry. I walked her down the aisle because she had a stepdad and a real dad, and her real dad and her were fighting. But he was still invited, and so she didn't want him to be offended if my stepdad was walking her down, so she went with me. Because we're actually like we're all siblings. I don't usually refer to my different sisters as stepsisters or whatever.
Oh, right.
But my sister Terry is we're blood related. We have the same mom, and so we've been super close all of our lives. We didn't really have other siblings until my mom got married when we were, I think I was in middle school. So it was one of those things that her and I are really close, and we're all close to everyone else, but we're really close. So that was super special for me. But it was kind of like no matter what happened before or after, it didn't matter. It was that walk down the aisle. It just seemed like everything was just kind of fell together somehow. It's kind of like your Lego bucket.
Right.
You have all these pieces scrambled all together. It doesn't feel like you can make anything out of it. And then you spend a couple hours, and when it comes time to whatever you're trying to make, it fits perfectly.
Right.
So it was, yeah. But like I said, it doesn't matter how messy it is. Usually that that moment that every girl dreams of